Hi everybody, this is Wanda again, and I just want to continue with the thought that I had earlier this week about the type of soil that we are. So I'm going to just expound a little bit more on the first two types of soil. So if we go back to Matthew, and he talks about the parable, we're going to just go through it one more time where it says, chapter 13. And the same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the seaside. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat. That's how many people there were. And the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. And some fell on stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, because they had no root, and they withered away. So that's chapter 13 of Matthew, verses 1 through 6. We're just going to go over that right quickly. And right now I am in Orlando with my hubby while he's at a conference, and I'm just enjoying my time with the Lord in my room by myself. Okay, so further down in chapter 13, there's the explanation of this parable of the sower. And in verse 18 through 21, is the explanation for these two types of soils. And I'm going to read it. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understand it not, then comes the wicked one, and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside. Now, the thought that came to me when it came to explaining that was real simple. Sometimes we can be just taking a walk or taking a drive, and we're passing by a church, and we hear something. We hear the noise of the church. We hear the joy. We hear the singing. Or else we're passing by a street preacher, and we hear the word. But instead of stopping to listen, to grab hold of it, at that moment we don't understand it. We just keep going. So that seed, that word, just falls right to the wayside. We don't hear it, right? We don't understand it. We don't even make the attempt to understand it. We just keep on going. So I believe that that's one explanation. Now the second one says in verse 20 and 21. It says, But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that hears the word and receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but dureth for a while. And when tribulation or persecution arises because of the world, by and by he is offended. Okay, so that to me says that I received the word, right? I'm joyfully and happily saved. Receive Jesus into my heart. Receive that word of God. And I'm happy. I'm in that first love, right? And then what happens? I start having troubles. And because I haven't taken root, because I haven't been diligent in reading the word of God, and I haven't been diligent in prayer or in gathering with the saints, there's no real root. So when those tribulations come up, because they will come up, in this world you will have trouble. Things will happen because we have no root, because we don't have ourselves grounded in the word. When the sun comes up, when those tribulations happen, when those troubles arise, when we can't pay our rent and we start stressing and becoming anxious, when we have troubles in our marriage or in our relationships, at our jobs, and we find that we have nothing, we don't know what to do, That's the sun coming up and it's scorching the word that should have been rooted in us. Should have been rooted in us. But we were not diligent enough to allow it to take root, to grow in it. Then it's burnt up. So the explanation for the first two types of soil, I should hope that you are not that type of soil. I should hope that you are not one where the seed fell by the wayside and you didn't hear it or bother to understand it. I should hope and pray that when troubles arise in your life, that you are well rooted in the Lord. I know it's a process and it takes time, but it won't happen unless you start. And you start by praying, and you start by gathering with the saints, and you start by reading your word and studying. That's how you make yourself get rooted into the word. You can't take a seed from an apple and plant it in a bunch of rocks and expect it to take root and grow into a tree to give fruit. You can't expect to throw that apple seed off to the side where there is no soil at all and expect it to grow and give fruit. So let's be the type of people that we will grow and give fruit. Because what we have is not just for us, it's for others. So I will see you next time with the explanation about the other two types of soils. God bless you all. Goodbye.